Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to our PDO's LinkedIn Live. Here we I have to say, usually talk about the account-based sales revolution, but today we have, a very special edition. We have a topic that is not just concerning sales leaders, but generally people in the business world. We're talking about how to take on the talent shortage in the tech of world. And I have with me today Gaspar from the Blue Road Academy and Iben from Salesforce, two of our partners. And I know how busy you are, so it's highly, highly appreciated that you took the time today and are with us here today.
It's absolutely our pleasure.
How we normally kick it off with our guests here. We're having a brief round of introductions. And I think we should go ladies first. Iben, could you give us a bit of a background to yourself and maybe about your role at Salesforce?
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you so much for having us. I'm Iben, and I am the alliance lead with Salesforce. I work in Denmark and head up our Nordics team. And for those of you who are not familiar with Salesforce, we are a global tech provider, and we started with CRM in 1999. And it's a space that we have expanded and expanded, and today we are a global leader. And we have clients of all sizes across the world. And CRM has expanded to commerce, marketing, integration, everything that you can dream of being relevant for end users and creating customer success. In Salesforce, we rely on partners, and the partner business is what I'm heading up for the Nordics. And being a tech provider, we do need partners to realize all the value on our software. So we do the software, and our partners, they do the magic on the software, implementation, integration, customization, all that. So partners are central to our business model. And in essence, thousands of companies, they partner and specialize on Salesforce. And my job is to make sure that our partners are mostly successful and have access to the resources and the talent that is required.
And thank you, Iben. Pleasure to have you here. What about you, Gaspar? You are the star of the show today. You are bringing us all together here. Can you tell us a bit more about your background as well and your story?
Yes, thank you, Max. Thanks for having me, and Iben, thanks for bringing us together as well. Right, I think without our PDO and Salesforce, we wouldn't have been working in Denmark. So thank you for that. So my name is Gaspar Rodriguez. I'm the co-founder and director of Blue Road Academy. It's a social enterprise that was founded in 2018 to basically bridge the talent gap between two worlds that we saw that weren't talking to each other. So on the one hand, not only in Denmark, but also in most EU countries, you have a high number of unemployed and underemployed refugees or newcomers. So there are people who are just not getting the opportunities they deserve. They don't have the network that they need to have, but they have skills and they have motivation, and they're very excited to start a new career and to start a new life in the host country, right? So we saw that as a big part of society, and a problem that we wanted to fix, to work with. And then on the other side, my background is in Salesforce consulting for about 13 years now. I've worked internationally in Salesforce, and I've been in the ecosystem for a while. And it's an excellent platform, but also an excellent community. And we saw that there's a high demand for talent in this community and in this space. So we said, okay, well, why don't we connect the refugees and Salesforce? And that was how we originally got started. We used to be called Refugee Force. Maybe you heard of that name. We changed the name last year to Blue Road Academy. But the idea was, yes, to provide, the best training possible we could to this target group, and to help them bridge the gap with the skills, with the network, and with mentorship, to become Salesforce talents and connect them directly with the partners that Iben mentioned, for example, and other Salesforce employers. So that's what we've been doing now for the last 4 years, and we've been lucky to work in the Netherlands, Denmark, Germany, the UK, and Sweden.
Yeah, thank you, Gaspar, and also thank you for sharing the idea of the Blue Road Academy, what it is all about. Um, and yeah, we had the honor to be the first host of the Blue Road Academy here in Denmark, and yeah, it was a big pleasure to see the energy and the motivation that everyone put into this project. So yeah, big thank you from our PDO for making this possible. My first question for you, Gaspar, and it's maybe a little selfish question. I've been selected to be one of the mentors at the Blue Road Academy. And what I want to ask you, for the newcomers that graduated the Blue Road Academy, that are now in the labor market, what are their biggest challenges, and what do they need the most help with?
Yeah, it's a good question, and thank you for being a mentor. I think that's what this program is all about, right? It's not just about teaching tech skills. I think that we have three different pillars. So one is the technical training, which is super important. Of course, you need the hard skills. However, we know that's not enough to get you a job, right? You also need the network, which is the second pillar. So we work on connecting professionals with the program and bringing other professionals on board. And then the third one is mentorship. So mentorship is a huge part of our program that really helps people understand this whole broad, world of Salesforce, because it's a huge world, a huge ecosystem. And if you ask 5 different people, you get 5 different answers on what they do in it and what it's for. So mentors really help kind of guide them a bit and help them understand, what are the opportunities out there. So for us, we see many participants who have the skills, they have the motivation, they have the attitude, they have the positive mindset, the growth mindset to learn Salesforce, and we know that, we see that. I think what really holds them back and is a challenge is connection to employers, right? Connections to introductions to hiring managers, introductions to people looking for new talent. I think many participants that come to our program have been applying to jobs and they just get no response, or they get automatic rejection. So I think for us, a big part of what we can add, not just on top of the skills, because people can learn for free on Trailhead, but it's not just the skills. Again, it's the connections and the bringing people together, as we've done in Denmark with our PDO and Salesforce coming together under one roof, right, and talking about Salesforce and really meeting each other. And I think that goes a long way to really break these barriers and create new opportunities, beyond the skills.
Yeah, and I hope that we at our PDO can contribute a little bit to that and really help the refugees find a place to work, a place to grow their careers, and I would like to build up on that, but switch the perspective a little bit, and ask you, Iben, what about Salesforce interest and participation in this project? Why Salesforce supporting this?
Well, I think this project is of strategic importance to Salesforce. First of all, the talent gap in the market, it's evident. It's also described by IDC in the analyst report called the Salesforce economy. And tech demands are very, very high demand.
Yeah.
So this is important also because so much of our business model relies on our partners. Remember, we do the software, and our partners, they do the magic on the platform to create the success. So having the access to talent is really important, and leading the way also for more people to invest their career and their time in tech without having a tech background, but basically having a diverse ecosystem of partners, a diverse set of people that can create this value and bring it to market. And Gaspar, I think you will agree with me that not everybody has a tech background joining this program, and you really don't need to have this tech background to be successful in your Salesforce career. And surfacing this opportunity to all these people that can build excellent careers on our platform is really, really important. It's important to our growth. It's important to our partners' growth. It's important to our collective success. So that's why it's so important to Salesforce.
Yeah, thank you, Iben. Yeah, and it's a great initiative. What I would like to do now to steer the conversation a bit more towards the main topic of today, right? Um, so we talked about newcomers and the challenges that they might face in coming into a new labor market. What about companies or even hiring managers? I feel like that the talent shortage, one thing is finding the right talent, and it seems like it's getting more and more competitive to find the right talent, but the other part is to actually develop the talent, which might be even more important. And I think this is where really the Blue Road Academy comes in, right? um, and my question to you, Gaspar, what is your take on this? And maybe additionally, why do we need more innovative ways to find the right talent and develop the right talent?
Yeah, it's a good question. And as you even mentioned, I think the shortage is very real, and it's not just in Denmark, but also in many European countries. We see a shortage of tech talent, of people who know specific platforms.
Mhm.
And this is not necessarily a coding programming challenge, right? It's not that everybody needs to be a programmer or a
Yeah.
coder to be in tech, right? I think as we see with Salesforce and other platforms, the low code and the no code revolution is very real.
Mhm.
And more jobs are needed where you're actually be able to translate business requirements, talk to customers, and understand what they do, and put them on the platform and develop applications for them. Right. So it's not so much about coding. I think that is that's it's changing a bit as we see in the market. But still, we have a shortage of IT talent in general. And most companies, as you mentioned, they struggle to find the talent and develop that talent because it's expensive, right? It's expensive for companies to put someone on a 2 month or 3 month boot camp or training academy internally. It requires a lot of resources, and you actually don't know if that person's going to work out, right? If you invest, 3 to 6 months of billable time on that person, then are they going to work out? You don't know. So where we come in is we do the training before the employment happens, right? So we take that training on with our very experienced trainers. It's in the classroom, so it's a very rigorous training. It's, if you ask the participants, they'll tell you how challenging it is. It's not easy, and we know that, and we know it's intensive, and we do it in the classroom, so we get to know them really well. And then we can say here it's not only a person, to employers, we can say here it's not only a person that's looking for a new job, but it's also a person that's already done the training. They've
Mhm.
gotten their Salesforce associate certification, their Salesforce administrator certification. They've spent time with us in the classroom, and they're pretty much ready to go, right? So we can bridge that gap a little bit to remove the risk for employers looking for new talent. Because it is an expensive proposition to develop, everything in house.
And what about you, Eben? Do you agree with this, with the idea of talent shortage, and that it gets more and more complicated to find and develop talent? Do you recognize this need and gap?
We do. We absolutely do. And I think there are two important things to point out. And one thing is how fast you can accelerate into a Salesforce career,
Mm.
because it is a program of only weeks, not months and months,
Yeah.
that is required to get started, and that actually allows you to get the first certifications. So getting started with something that is really meaningful so fast is important. So this is the time to value. And secondly, I think when investing our time and our money, it's important that we open up basically for all the talent that's out there, and allow everybody to get this
Mhm.
opportunity. It's good for it's good for the world. It's also good for our business that we get access to this talent. And I think building a community which is as special as the Salesforce community actually is, that represents the world that we live in, is really really important. And it opens up for so much more possibility and so much business value that we can bring to market.
And you touched already a bit on how Salesforce is tackling this challenge. I would like to ask you about your opinion, also about how this trend is developing in the future. Do you see this is getting even worse? Do you maybe say OpenAI is taking all our jobs anyway, so it doesn't really matter? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it matters. And what we usually look at is what the analysts they come up with, and the Salesforce economy, the white paper that was made by IDC talks about this, and it's a global report, and it's really really interesting. So you can go and look it up online, and if you Google IDC, the Salesforce economy, you can find it, and you can read the entire report, but you can also go into the Tableau dashboard that allows you to drill down to the country that you're in. And if you drill down to Denmark, you can actually see how many jobs will be created in the Salesforce economy through 2026. And it is for Denmark alone more than 30,000 jobs. So I think when you qualify for a new career and you decide, as a future Salesforce professional, should I do this or should I not do it? Then you want to qualify that this is actually a very good place in the market, and it is. We are growing year on year, even in tough times. Providing excellent customer experiences is something that is on the agenda of all CEOs and all companies. So this is a really good market to invest, to drive your career and to build it. And looking at the 30,000 jobs that will be added alone in Denmark through 2026, I think it's a testimony for this to be a very good choice.
Yeah. Just want to add here, I think it's really important that you say career, because that's really what it's about, right? I think it's not just a job. It's not just something you go and do. And Salesforce gives you the opportunity to grow in many different areas, not only in certification paths, in the roles that you have as a developer or consultant or architect, but also really deepen your knowledge on specific products or on a specific industry. So it's a massive career path, and I think that's what's really attractive to the people that we work with, is that it's not just a job for them. It's really something that they can see themselves growing into for a long period of time and continuing to add value to their Salesforce employer.
And I think this integration of being super savvy in terms of building business, providing the value, and creating opportunity is something that's very core to Salesforce. And I think that Blue Road Academy is an amazing initiative because it is creating this opportunity to people and individuals that don't get it otherwise. And if you read a little bit about Salesforce, you will see that the way that we look upon giving back and investing in projects like this sets us apart from other companies. And it all goes hand in hand and is integrated very well in the way that we work. So we have a philanthropic model that we call the 1-1-1 model. It means that we invest our time, our software, and our equity, 1% of each, to make the world a better place, and support projects like this, and making it a part of our business model and making it an integral part of our success is really, really key to Salesforce. And it means that this is something that doesn't stop tomorrow or the day after because we get sick of it or the project stops. It'll keep going because this is important. It's important to us, and it's important to have this impact on the world to actually make it a better place, and also to provide the success and the growth that we are in the business to provide.
Yeah, and Thank you for that, even, and also thank you for bringing up some statistics. We had in our LinkedIn invite, or in the invite for the event, we had a statistic that Camilla from our marketing team found. So shout out to Camilla, you're doing an amazing job. And where we had a survey of one of the biggest staffing companies. And what they found, global talent shortages reach a 16-year high as 3 in 4 employers report difficulty finding the talent they need. And at the very top of the most sought after professions, IT and data professionals, of course, closely followed by sales roles. So yeah, it is a thing. It is maybe even a bit scary or shocking, but it really shows how relevant this discussion is that we're having. Um, to paint the picture not too dark of the future, let's look at the bright side, which brings me back to the Blue Road Academy. What a transition! But let's talk about success stories. Gaspar, can you share some of the success stories you had with Blue Road Academy, and some of the results?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's many bright spots out there, and if anyone was tuning into Dreamforce, Mark Benioff's keynote, you probably saw Seema on stage.
Yeah.
So she's an exceptional person, and we were very lucky to be able to work with her and help her on her career. And she was represents a lot of the participants we work with, which is non-traditional backgrounds, new to the country, a bit scared of tech, a bit worried about are they techie enough? Do they have the right mindset, right? And then when you provide a platform and a community that allows you to break through those uncertainties and break through those challenges in a supportive environment, then you see the success, right? You see people being more confident in themselves. You see building that professional network. You see people, learning on Trailhead and completing our program and saying, "Hey, I can really do this," right? Passing the certifications and really believing them in themselves. And I think SEMA represents a lot of the people that, like I said, that we work with, who have a very similar background. Um, since tomorrow's International Women's Day, we also featured a story of Dana just today that we shared. Dana Zandaki, who completed our program in 2019. She came from Syria. After a very long and hard journey and setting up in the Netherlands, she was able to really think about, okay, how am I going to get my career back on track? So that process takes a while for many of the newcomers that we work with. They're not all ready. They're not all settled. Some have to deal with lots of other issues, and they have family back home and legal issues and immigration issues to deal with. So after they get settled, they come to programs like ours, and we can really put them on a path towards success. And Donna, yeah, she was also not a technical person. She came to our program, completed it. The day after she completed it, she received an offer from one of our partners and has been there ever since. So she's been there for about 3.5 years. She just got a permanent contract as a senior Salesforce consultant now. So she's thriving. And the idea that this works, the model that we have, is because those partners are willing to hire directly, right? And to take on new Salesforce talent. And once that opportunity opens up for the people that we work with, we know that they stick around. So one of the biggest success factors that we talk about is retention. Retention from the participants that go to work for our partners is around 90 to 95% after 2 years. So it's very difficult to keep Salesforce talent. The market is hot. We know that. We know that there are opportunities and recruiters chasing you on LinkedIn all the time. But loyalty is high with our group. They're very happy with giving with the opportunities that they get, and they stick around. So yeah, those are a couple of stories that come to mind. But I think it's not unlike many of the participants who've gone on to work for our partners are thriving.
Nice. And even you've been part of the program now. For you, what do you find most important when working with Blue Road Academy?
So I think the whole aspect of diversity and expanding the pool of talent is really important. It's really important to have this impact and make sure that we can create this opportunity together with the people that are accepted onto the program. I think looking from the outside, it's evident to see that people, they are picked because of their personality and their motivation. And that is just, it fills the room when you walk in. They really want this. They
Yeah.
really, really want this. And what's more energizing than to work with the people that, are on fire?
Mm.
So this is, I think, a great opportunity for the participants. It's also a gift for me to be able to be part of this and to feel the energy and see the careers that are being developed, because it is in fact possible to build an entire career on Salesforce. And this is what we're seeing. And I think this is what people on the program are learning. And they're seeing the aspects of how far you can actually go, even without being a techie, because there's a career for everybody. There's so many different paths that you can choose. So it's easy to fulfill your dream and your passion. And the passion is, the first thing you meet when you walk in the room.
Yeah. And this was also really something we saw here at the Arpedio office. The people are burning for Salesforce, for this whole project, the initiative, high energy, high motivation. So yeah, very inspiring, very inspiring. We're coming a bit to an end here, and I would like to start wrapping it up. We always end it with yeah, a learning or a key takeaway. This can be something you have mentioned before and you want to maybe emphasize on. This can be something completely new. But I would like to start with you, Gaspar. Any learnings, key takeaways you can share with everyone watching here?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for this conversation and thanks for having me. I think one key takeaway that we've seen not only in our program in Denmark, but also we see in other EU countries in general is the link between diversity and innovation, right? And so many companies are now struggling and struggling with and focusing on innovation, right? And figuring out how to be more digital, how to reach more people, how to be more agile, right? And diversity plays a big part in that, right? You have people with different ideas, different perspectives, different talent, different ways of seeing the world, and
Mhm.
we know that this is a very strong link that's been well documented, and we want to bring that to most companies, right? We want diversity to increase so they can focus on innovation and thinking differently. And so, a big part of that is hiring. And if we keep hiring in traditional ways and going to universities and hiring traditional talent that looks like us and speaks like us and talks like us, it's not going to get to that innovation or to that success that the company is looking for, right? And so we need to think differently. We need to look around what's nearby and what's close to our community to grow, right? We don't need to find talent, in every country and
Mhm.
import it over. I think there's many amazing people in the community that are looking for that chance. So yeah, local program aspect that we bring is also important. So yeah, just want to leave it with those closing thoughts.
What about you, Eben?
Well, I think the diversity is very, very closely aligned to the pool of talent, because we
Mhm.
are expanding the pool of talent that we're fishing in, and that is important to grow. And the growth is core to our future success. So going this new way and expanding the pool of talent while we are actually making a real difference for real people and for ourselves.
Mhm.
It's a very, very smart way to do it. I think that we are very privileged to see that a program like this is adding up like it is, with the technical skills, including people of so many backgrounds and profiles, but also including the aspects of being being offered a mentor. So you can include the cultural or the more human skills in the program. And then I think time to value is important to point out. This only takes 6 weeks. It is an excellent way to get started on a new career in a very, very professional, proven way. This is something that we know works, and it's been a great pleasure to be part of this first pilot in Denmark.
Big thank you, Iben and Gaspar, for joining us today. Gaspar, one last question. If I'm watching this and I'm interested in getting involved with the Blue Road Academy, maybe interested in hiring some of the alumni, what's the easiest and best way to get a hold of you and your team?
Yes, and just go to our website, blueroadacademy.com. And there, if you're looking for hiring or if you're looking to apply to the program, either way, you'll see that there's different ways to contact us. So that's the best way. And then on LinkedIn, right? So we're here on live on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is our strongest community. So we can always find us on LinkedIn and connect with us there.
Perfect. Yeah, and make sure to follow Blue Road Academy and follow our PDO. A big shout out to all the participants of the Danish version of the Blue Road Academy, and congratulations to the one that already passed all the courses. And yeah, thank you again, Iben and Gaspar, and talk to you soon. Thank you for joining. Bye bye.
Thank you, Max. Thank you, Iben.
Thank you.